They said Michael Carter's triplet daughters would never speak, and for 3 long years the house felt like a place where sound had been locked away. Every morning came with the same quiet. Every night ended the same way, with Michael sitting alone, asking God why his home felt like a grave while his daughters were still alive. But on one quiet afternoon, when the lake outside lay still and the halls felt heavy, Michael heard something that made him freeze near the stairs. It was not a word. It was not a laugh. It was a small sound, weak and unsure, coming from the playroom upstairs. He did not move. He listened again. The sound came once more. Then a soft woman's voice, low and calm, like someone speaking to children without scaring them. Michael held the stair rail. If I go up there and it is nothing, I will break, he thought. If I go up there and it is real, I might break too. 3 weeks earlier, the Carter mansion was still, cold, and full of rules. It looked perfect from the outside. White walls, clean windows, a wide porch facing the lake. People called it a dream home. Michael called it the place where his wife, Emily, died. Emily had been warm and noisy. She sang while cooking. She laughed easily. She filled rooms without trying. Then the day the triplets came, she never came home again. Michael remembered the hospital lights, the smell of clean sheets, the doctor's mouth moving, words he could not hold. He remembered being led to the nursery and seeing 3 tiny babies, Lily, Grace, and Nora, lying side by side, silent. No cries, no first scream, just still faces, and a quiet that scared him. At first, nurses said, maybe they are tired, maybe they are weak. Days passed. The babies stayed quiet. Doctors tested, checked, and spoke in long sentences. In the end, they said, they may never speak. Prepare yourself. Michael tried to prepare. He spent money like water. He hired therapists, nurses, and nannies. They arrived hopeful, then left tired. Some stayed a week, some stayed a month. One nanny packed her bags in the middle of the night and drove away without a goodbye. The worst part was not the quitting. The worst part was the way his daughters looked through him, like he was furniture. Lily watched everything with a careful stare. Grace stayed tense, her hands tight, her eyes always scanning. Nora held her blanket like a shield, her small body curled inward when strangers came close. They played without sound. They ate without asking. They woke in fear, sweating, shaking, silent. Mrs. Turner, the head housekeeper, had worked for Michael for years. One morning, she stood in his office and said, "Sir, the agency is sending someone new today." Michael did not look up. He only said, "Send whoever. Just send someone who will not run." That afternoon, a young woman arrived at the front door with a small bag and a simple uniform, light blue with white trim. Her hair was pulled back neatly. Her face looked calm, but her eyes looked like they had carried pain and kept walking. Mrs. Turner opened the door. "What is your name?" "Angela Brooks," the woman said. Mrs. Turner sighed. "Miss Brooks, I will be honest. This house is full of sadness. The girls do not speak. People come here and leave with their hearts heavy." Angela nodded slowly. "Then maybe this is where I should be," she said. Mrs. Turner led her down the quiet hallway. In the playroom, Lily, Grace, and Nora sat on the floor with blocks. They did not look up. Their faces stayed still, like they were somewhere far away. "Mrs. Turner whispered, "They do not warm up easily." Angela did not rush them. She did not clap, or wave toys, or force a smile. She knelt down at a safe distance. She placed a simple cloth doll on the rug, then rested her hands on her knees. And she waited. A long minute passed. Then Lily's eyes slid to the doll. Grace leaned forward, then stopped. Nora watched from behind her blanket. Angela tapped her own chest softly, then pointed to the doll, as if asking permission. Lily blinked once, slow. It was small, but it was something. That evening, Michael met Angela in the hallway. Mrs. Turner introduced her. Michael's voice was flat. "You have read the file." "Yes, sir," Angela said. "My daughters need quiet," Michael said. "No forcing. No loud games. If you cannot handle this, leave now." Angela did not argue. She only said, "Sir, children who are afraid do not need more quiet, they need safety." Michael's jaw tightened. "Do not tell me what my children need," he said. Angela lowered her eyes. "I understand, sir," she said. "Let me start small." For the next days, nothing big happened. No miracle, no sudden change. Only tiny moments that were easy to miss. A longer look, a calmer breath, a hand that did not pull away fast. Angela sat with the girls early in the morning, and late at night. She did not talk much. She stayed close, like a steady wall they could lean on. She taught them simple hand signs, slow and gentle, one sign at a time. Michael watched from a distance. He told himself he was only checking, but he kept checking because the air in the house began to feel different. Not happy, not healed, just less dead. Then came that afternoon. Michael stood near the stairs again, listening to that small sound upstairs and the soft woman's voice, and he felt the fear of hope rise in his chest. Because if he walked into that playroom, he might learn that his daughters were not as unreachable as everyone had said. And if that was true, he might also learn why they became silent in the first place. Michael Carter did not go upstairs right away. He stood near the bottom of the stairs for a long time, listening to the soft sounds drift down from the playroom. It was not loud, it was not clear, but it was there, and that alone made his chest feel tight. For years, the house had trained him to expect nothing, so even a small sound felt dangerous. He finally moved, one slow step at a time. His hand rested on the rail, his fingers cold. With every step, memories followed him. Doctors shaking their heads, nannies leaving without looking back, nights when he sat outside the girls' room listening to silence and wondering if he had already failed them as a father. When he reached the top, the sound stopped. Michael froze again. This is what always happens, he thought. The moment I believe, it disappears. He almost turned back, almost chose safety over truth. Then he heard Angela's voice again, calm and steady. "It is okay," she said softly. "You are safe here." Michael stepped closer to the door. He did not open it fully. He looked through the small space and saw Lily, Grace, and Nora sitting in a loose circle on the floor. Angela sat with them, her legs folded, her hands resting open in her lap. She was not talking much. She was using her hands, slow movements, clear and gentle. The girls watched closely. Grace lifted her own hands and copied the movement, not perfect, but trying. Michael's breath caught. He had seen therapists try for months, pushing, pointing, repeating. He had never seen his daughters copy anyone. Angela tapped her chest lightly, then moved her hand outward. Lily copied. Nora hesitated, then followed. Michael felt his legs weaken. He leaned against the wall, afraid that if he stepped inside, the moment would break. After a while, Angela looked up and noticed him. Their eyes met. She did not look surprised. She did not look guilty. She only gave a small nod, like she had expected him. Michael cleared his throat. "What are you doing?" he asked quietly. Angela stood slowly, careful not to startle the girls. "I am teaching them how to speak without sound," she said. "They cannot speak," Michael replied, his voice tight. Angela nodded. "With their mouths, no. With their hands, yes. And with their hearts," she added softly. Michael did not answer. He watched Lily press her fingers together again, repeating the sign Angela showed. Grace smiled, just a little. It was not a big smile, but it was real. That night, Michael did not go back to his study. He sat outside the playroom, listening. He heard Angela humming low, not a song, just a steady sound. The girls did not cry. They did not panic. They stayed close to her. Michael remembered the first night after Emily died. He had stood in the nursery holding 3 silent babies, his body stiff, his heart numb. He had not known what to say. He had chosen silence, thinking it was safer. The next morning, Michael called his assistant and canceled all meetings for the week. He did not explain why. He did not need to. Days passed slowly. Angela followed a careful routine. Morning light, quiet time, simple signs. Afternoon rest, soft play. Evening calm. No rush. No force. Michael watched everything from the edges. He noticed small changes. Lily no longer pulled away when touched. Grace slept longer at night. Nora stopped hiding her face when someone entered the room. One afternoon, Michael finally spoke to Angela alone. "Why do you know how to do this?" he asked. Angela looked at the window before answering. "Because I have seen silence before," she said. Michael waited. She did not continue. That evening, he sat with the girls for the first time in a long while. He felt awkward, unsure. Angela showed him one simple sign: love. Michael tried it, his hand shaking. Lily watched him closely. Then, she copied the movement and placed her hand against his chest. Michael felt tears rise, slow and heavy. He did not wipe them away. That night, he dreamed of Emily. She was standing in the kitchen, laughing softly. The girls were there too, running around her legs. When he woke, his pillow was wet. The next day, Michael followed Angela into the playroom again. He stayed longer this time. He listened as she spoke to the girls in a low voice. "You are safe," she said. "You are here. You are loved." Michael felt something twist inside him. No doctor had ever said those words. In the afternoon, Mrs. Turner pulled Michael aside. "Sir," she said. The girls seemed calmer. "The staff notices it too." Michael nodded. "I know." That evening, as the sun lowered, Grace tugged at Angela's sleeve and signed something Michael did not understand. Angela smiled gently. "She wants you." Michael froze. "Me?" Angela nodded. He sat down slowly. Grace reached for his hand. Her grip was light, but it held. Lily leaned closer. Nora rested her head against his arm. Michael felt his chest tighten. He did not speak. He stayed still, afraid to scare them away. Angela watched quietly from the corner. Later that night, Michael stood in his office staring at a photo of Emily. "I am trying," he whispered. "I did not know how before." The following morning, Michael overheard Angela talking softly to the girls. Her voice broke slightly. "I know fear," she said. "I know loss, but you do not have to carry it alone." Michael stopped walking. He listened. "I lost someone once," Angela continued. "Someone small, someone precious. I could not save her, but I can stay here with you." Michael felt his stomach drop. He did not step into the room. He walked away, his mind racing. That afternoon, he asked Mrs. Turner to look into Angela's past, not because he distrusted her, but because he needed to understand. The report came back simple. No criminal record, no formal medical training. One child listed, deceased, 6 years old. Michael sat down heavily. That night, a storm rolled over the lake. Wind hit the windows. The house creaked softly. Michael stayed awake, sitting near the girls' room. Near midnight, Nora woke crying. It was a soft cry, weak but clear. Michael rushed in. Angela was already there, holding her. "It is okay," Angela whispered. "Daddy is here." The word hit Michael hard. Daddy. Nora pressed her face into his chest. He held her, unsure but willing. As the storm grew louder outside, Michael felt something shift inside the house. The silence was no longer empty. It was waiting, and whatever Angela had brought with her, whatever truth she carried, Michael knew it was getting closer to the surface. The house could feel it. So could he. The storm did not leave the house that night. It only grew quieter, like it was waiting to see what would happen next. Michael Carter sat on the floor beside his daughter's beds, his back against the wall, his eyes open, his body tired but alert. Nora slept in his arms, her small breath warm against his chest. Lily and Grace slept close by, their hands loose instead of tight, their faces calmer than he had seen in years. Angela sat in the chair near the window. She did not sleep. She watched the girls, listening to every breath, every small movement. The soft light from the lamp touched her face, showing lines of worry and care that told a story Michael did not fully know yet. Hours passed slowly. The house was quiet, but it was no longer empty quiet. It felt full, like a held breath. Just before morning, Lily stirred. She opened her eyes and looked around, confused at first, then calm. She lifted her hands slowly and signed something small and careful. Angela leaned forward. "What is it, sweetheart?" Lily looked at Michael and repeated the sign. "Daddy?" Michael felt his chest break open. He leaned closer, his voice low. "I am here," he said. "I am not leaving." Grace woke next. She watched Lily's hand, then copied the movement. "Daddy." Nora shifted in Michael's arms and whispered it too, weak but clear. Michael closed his eyes. Tears ran down his face, but he did not wipe them away. He let his daughters see them. He wanted them to know that he felt things too. When the sun rose, it came in soft and pale through the windows. The storm had passed. The lake outside looked calm again, like nothing bad had happened. Inside the house, everything had changed. Dr. Porter arrived later that morning. She walked into the medical room with her usual serious face, but it did not stay that way for long. She checked the machines, the numbers, the girl's breathing. She paused, then checked again. "This is not what I expected," she said quietly. Michael stood up slowly. "What does that mean?" "Their bodies are still weak," she said, "but they are responding. Their stress levels are lower. Their breathing is steadier. This should not be happening this fast." Angela stayed silent. She watched the girls instead. Dr. Porter turned to her. "What are you doing with them?" Angela answered simply, "I am staying." Dr. Porter nodded slowly. "Sometimes that is enough," she said. That afternoon, Michael asked Angela to sit with him in the living room. The girls were resting, calm and full from warm soup. "Why did you really come here?" he asked. Angela looked at her hands. "I lost my daughter," she said. "Her name was Emma. She was 6. She got sick. I trusted the doctors. I trusted the silence. I thought staying quiet would protect her." Michael felt his throat tighten. "By the time I spoke up," Angela continued, "it was too late. She died in a room full of machines and quiet people." She looked up at him. "When I heard about your daughters, about how quiet this house was, I knew that silence again. I could not walk away." Michael nodded slowly. "You saved them." Angela shook her head. "They saved me too." Days turned into weeks. The girls grew stronger, not fast, but steady. They signed more. They spoke small words. "Daddy," "Here," "Warm," "Stay." Michael changed his life around them. He worked from home. He read to them. He told them about their mother, Emily, about her laugh, her kindness, her love. At first, his voice shook when he spoke of her. Then it grew steadier. The girls listened, their eyes full, their hands reaching for his. One evening, as the sun fell low, Lily asked a simple question. "Mommy." Michael closed his eyes. He breathed in. "Mommy loved you very much," he said. "She is not here, but she is part of you." Grace signed sad. "Yes," Michael replied. "Sad, but also love." Angela watched from the doorway, her heart full. Months later, the Carter house was no longer known as the silent house by the lake. Laughter returned, small at first, then stronger. Music played again. Windows opened. Light came in. Angela stayed, not as a maid, but as family. One morning, Michael stood on the porch watching his daughters play. Angela stood beside him. "You were right," he said. "Silence was not safety." Angela smiled softly. "Love makes noise," she replied. Michael looked at his daughters, then at the woman who helped bring them back to life. "Thank you," he said. Angela nodded. We all needed each other. And for the first time since his wife died, Michael felt whole, not because pain was gone, but because it was shared, spoken, and held with love. The house breathed again, so did the hearts inside it. Dear viewers, this story is not just about a rich man, a maid, or 3 children. It is about silence, pain, and the power of staying when it is easier to walk away. Michael had money, a big house, and control over many things, yet he could not heal his daughters with any of that. What changed their lives was not medicine alone. It was love, presence, patience, and a woman who refused to let fear win again. This story reminds us that sometimes the people who save us are not the ones with titles or certificates, but the ones who carry their own pain and still choose to help others heal. Angela did not come with power. She came with courage, and that courage brought sound back into a house that had forgotten how to breathe. As you reflect on this story, we want to hear from you. Please tell us in the comments where you are watching from, and tell us what you learned from this story. Did it remind you to speak up, to stay present, or to love without fear? Your words may touch someone else who needs hope today. If this story moved your heart, please like this video so more people can find it. Subscribe to the channel for more emotional and meaningful stories like this, and share it with someone who may need encouragement right now. And if you want more stories from us, stories that touch the heart and stay with you long after the video ends, comment the words, "More stories," and you will be the first to receive the next emotional stories we share. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of this community.